Alright guys, Boblem recently published a video titled The Ian Experiment Has Failed. If you didn't know, Ian is a lab-grown Caucasian rapper, just kidding. But you get the point. He basically said that after this massive push Ian has gotten, he's starting to fall off. He made a lot of good points, but I somewhat disagree with his overall statement. So I'm going to talk about what he's referring to by saying the Ian experiment in the first place, the points he made, and where I think Ian actually is. So first of all, let's talk about what Boblem means by the Ian experiment. By the Ian experiment, he means like, him being industry planted or whatever into the game, all right? If you don't know, Ian kind of blew up through the song called Figure It Out. He got picked up real quick by Columbia Records and they just started pushing him super hard. He's picked up specifically by a guy named Boo-Tiem, who's Akon's brother. He was signed to Columbia and the rest has been what it's been. However, a lot of people say, hey, this guy's just an industry plant, blah, 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 blah. Like, he didn't work his way up there. The label just put him on. That's the whole Ian experiment. Not totally though. The experiment also refers to what Ian is. Ian is not very special if you just hear his music. Sure, it's good. It's not like horrible. It's also not amazing or whoa, but it's just cool, However, if you look at Ian, he is the most normal looking white guy ever. If you saw him, you wouldn't be surprised if he played lacrosse or he was playing tennis or I don't know. He's just super white, you know what I'm saying? So when they see a guy like that rapping how he raps, like what? Crazy. But anyways, Boblem said, hey, people don't care about Ian's new drop. And to be honest, he's kind of right. I don't really think anyone cares about Ian's new release. I think they're just like, kind of into it, but they don't really care. I think some people are gonna check it out, but I don't think it's gonna have the same that it had when he dropped his last project. Let me explain. So Boblem says, hey, you might see all these likes and comments on his Instagram post, but as fans, you just know how you feel. People aren't really like itching for some new Ian. I feel like, all right, cool. And he's very right there. However, I will say another reason why people aren't going to be caring about Ian is number one, there's Netsbend who's going to drop his album. There's Ken who's apparently dropping on Halloween or some. Cardi's dropping. Yeet is dropping also. Like, I need to understand, Net, E, and Ken are probably all going to drop before Cardi. So everyone's all dropping. They're all these big. Why would anyone care about Ian? You know what I mean? He's just squished in there. He's also dropped. He hasn't dropped super frequently, but it's like, I don't know if people are ready to start investing back in Ian. His last project also didn't really leave a lasting impression on most people. To me, I like Bentayga. Like, that song was cool. Airbnb was cool, but I'm not going back to these songs. Like, they were just, oh, it's a cool song. And even the song he just dropped, I don't even remember the name, but it was a good song. I liked it. It just, I don't know, he's not very memorable at this point. So he does have that point. However, he also said like, his time is over. However, I don't really think his time is over. Let's look at his stats. Number one, 800K on Instagram. That's a lot. Let's look at how many likes some of this shit is getting. Just look at it. Dang. 270, 103, 135, like snippet 150, like doing pretty good. Now, I also want to show you something else for context. So who do you think is bigger, Ian or Netsbend? So a lot of people would say Netsbend. However, look at Lyrical Lemonades. So this is like a YouTube extension. I guess since I'm a YouTuber, it's called View Stats, right? And on YouTube, every time you post a video, they rank it out of your last 10 posts. So for example, let's say you post a video that gets 100K views in a day. It's like, that's a 1 out of 10. Let's say you get one that you post a video and it does like 1,000 in a day. That's a 10 out of 10, all right? Because if you compare it, and everything in between is just in between, all right? So as you can see, Netsbend's Swag is number 5, and Lil Yachty and Ian's is number 2. Now, obviously, Lil Yachty's on that song, but I don't think it changes things too much. I will explain how it changes things, and has 2.7 million, meaning Ian and Yachty's song in the same time, the first 2 days and 11 hours, has 4 times more views than Netsbend's, all right? So let's break down why. Number one, Yachty's on the song. However, if you see Yachty and Bees' song only has 793, which is just a little more, and Yachty's specific song only has 600K. Now, there are 2 reasons for this. Number one, Ian is he has a lot more of a mainstream sound. The next reason is Yachty's on it, that's gonna help. That's gonna boost things a little bit. The third reason, sorry, I lied when I said 2, is this song was promoted a lot. F Swag, it was kind of teased here and there, but the release of the music video wasn't really. Everyone just knew something was coming with Lyrical Lemonade, and then same day it just dropped. It was like, all right, okay, what? There wasn't too much promo. And of course, Netsbend is he has a more niche and different sound than what people are used to, so that's gonna affect it as well. However, when we come down to what's more memorable, and this goes back to Boblem's point, Netsbend's song was a lot more memorable. I don't think people really care about Ian and Yachty's song like that. F Swag, I think everyone's gonna be talking about it. When Lil Yachty and Ian dropped, people were more mad at Lil Yachty for co-signing Ian than actually the song itself. And the song was cool and all. You know what I mean? Ian can rap, of course. So yeah, I would say he's definitely still big. Another random thing I noticed was Lil88 is in Ian's comments. Comment what you think. What do you think of that? I don't even know what to say. But anyways, yeah, that's the other thing. So does this mean he's failed? Does this mean that people aren't gonna care about Ian like that? Honestly, I kind of agree. I don't think he's gonna fall off. Like, I don't think he's done from here. I think he can still go on a tour. I think he can still do certain things. I think he can still drop music, but I think he needs like a single that kind of puts him on the map, really cement him. I don't think he's done anything to like really cement himself. He just has some cool songs, you know what I mean? Like, I always think of it like this. Like, Ian was performing at like a festival or something, right? What would he perform? He would perform Figure It Out, maybe a song with Yachty, maybe like Magic Johnson. It's like, that's it. That's like 6-7 minutes worth of music, you know? And even then, it's not like anything so like super crazy. I'd also say that the whole culture vulture is something that it does kind of put a chip on your shoulders. I think Ian has that still overcome. I don't think he's overcame the culture vulture stuff. Like, his recent single that he just dropped, it's on like a Chief Keef type beat. You know what I mean? Like, all right. Another thing Boblem also said, back to the industry plan stuff, is he said, yo, people have found out he's an industry plan, you know, this is 2024. And he literally said this, like, you know, Diddy's getting exposed, this is getting exposed. Like, fans don't like this fake stuff. They know everything. They're very like in tune. They're not gonna rock with him being an industry plan, etc. and all that. I somewhat agree. I feel like Ian was slapped with the industry plan label the moment he came out. Like, there was like a week and the discourse immediately started. It was like, damn, you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of been on him so long that it doesn't really matter. However, I do feel like people don't take him as seriously because of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, you know, he's hard, but he's in an industry plan. Does that make sense? But anyways, back to what I was saying. I still think Ian has potential because, as I said, his stuff is more mainstream friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like very regular rap fans could listen and mess with Ian. That's why Ian did so well. That's why he's bigger. Like, you could take Osama Sun's followers. Like, Osama Sun has 313K. And you can take Netspen's followers. He has about 300K as well. You could add them, and you still won't have as many as Ian's followers. I mean, shit, you can even take Chase. You can add them all up. He's still got more. So, sure, I think the hype for him has stalled, but I don't think the whole experiment has failed. I think he's still got a little more to go. I would say, though, that he really has to prove himself. I feel like these next 6 months are crucial. Can't get something to go. I really don't know about this the tail end of the year drop or whenever he's gonna drop his album. I just don't think it's gonna be tough. Because think about it, Netspend, like, and I think Osama is dropping a tape with We Gonna Be Okay, like Ken, as I said, Hardy, Yeet, Ian. I don't think people care like that. You know what I mean? So that's definitely gonna be tough. Definitely gonna be very tough. Of course, one last thing that I should have said that's kind of obvious. I don't know, it just felt obvious to me in my head, but I should, voiced it. The whole shtick is old already. People don't care. Like, all right, at the end of the day, it's kind of what blew him up. But after a certain point, people just aren't gonna care that he's white rapping like that. They're just gonna care about the music, or they're just not gonna care at all. So I feel like now is the time where the music has to really leave a lasting impression. His last project really just didn't do that. I was like, you know what I mean? And he got kind of lucky with the TikTok song too. I feel like this time everything has to hit, and I feel like he's had enough time in the studio to where you can ask that from him or of him. You know what I mean? I think he's just got to drop straight like heat. He can't really miss. I don't think there's any room for error here. That makes sense. But yeah, that's what I think. Let me know your thoughts, and bye. When I say tomorrow, see you tomorrow. Bye.